as the FBI looks into those new emails that may be linked to Hillary Clinton's private server in that investigation. I can tell you that CNN has learned that investigators are also looking into alleged connections between the Trump campaign and Russia and possible meddling in the U.S. presidential election. And now a startling new claim from the top Democrat in the U.S. Senate. Minority Leader Harry Reid, in a letter to the director of the FBI, claims the Bureau has, quote unquote, explosive information about Trump and Russia. So CNN Justice correspondent Evan Perez has been digging into this. Evan, is there any kind of connection? I mean, what has the FBI found?
Not very much, Brooke. Well, let me just, before we get into this, let me just preface this by talking a little bit about what we do know. We've seen, obviously, a mutual admiration of sorts between Trump and Putin. They've said nice things about each other. And it is true that there are folks in the U.S. government, including the intelligence agencies and law enforcement, that are very concerned about some of the activities of the Russian intelligence services that appear to be trying to meddle in the U.S. elections. They don't necessarily, at this point, believe or have any evidence that this is to elect Trump necessarily. They think that this is really just to sow confusion and chaos in the U.S. election. That's what they believe is happening behind the scenes. That said, there are a number of investigations that the FBI has been doing over the last couple of years that do touch on a number of figures in the Trump world, and we're going to deal with those right now. One of them is Paul Manafort, who was the former chairman of the Trump campaign, and for over a year the FBI has been taking a look at whether or not there were any connections between him and some pro-Putin forces in Ukraine. He did do some political work for the Ukrainian government here in Washington, and the allegations that some Democrats have forwarded is that he didn't properly register as a foreign lobbyist. I can tell you that the FBI has been taking a look at that. It doesn't look like there's going to be a case brought there, but it is something that they've been taking a look at again for well over the year. And the investigation also, by the way, has touched on the Podesta group, which is linked to John Podesta's brother, Tony Podesta, here in Washington. Another figure who in the Trump world who was being looked at is Roger Stone. Again, this is a wider investigation. The FBI has been taking a look at WikiLeaks for now about 6 years. It's a very complicated investigation looking into the leaks of U.S. government documents. And Roger Stone's name has come up. Harry Reid and some of these other folks have suggested that there is some type of coordination between Roger Stone and Julian Assange, the leader of WikiLeaks. Roger Stone denies this. He says that he does have in between mutual friends that they've been talking to each other, but he denies that there's any coordination. And the Trump campaign, by the way, denies that there's any coordination. And as I mentioned, this is a very complicated investigation simply because WikiLeaks is publishing hacked materials. That's what news organizations do, and that's one of the problems with bringing that case. Brooke?